Good morning, TIBC students. Today we study postulates of special theory of relativity. The special theory of relativity was developed by Albert Einstein in 1905. This theory is based upon two basic postulates, and they are: first postulate, the principle of equivalence. The laws of physics are the same in all inertial frames. That is, all inertial frames are equivalent. This postulate implies that law of mechanics as well as electromagnetism are invariant under all transformations. It also states that the absolute inertial frame does not exist. Then second postulate is called the principle of constancy of the speed of light. The speed of light in free space is always constant and equal to c, and is independent of the relative motion of the inertial frames, source and the observer. Okay. Then next we study the important experiment called as Michelson-Morley experiment. This experiment was carried out to check the existence of hypothetical ether medium. That means ether medium which is considered as the hypothetical medium was exist in the universe or not. In Michelson interferometer, a beam of monochromatic light from source S is divided into two parts of equal intensities by partial reflection and refraction method. These beams travel in two mutually perpendicular directions and come together after reflection from plane mirrors. These beams overlap on each other and produces interference fringes. A beam of monochromatic light from source S, after passing through a lens L, falls on a half silver glass plate P. The glass plate P is placed at an angle 45 degree to the incident beam, so it splits single beam into two beams as shown in the figure. So now first we see first figure, which is called as a schematic diagram of the Michelson-Morley experiment. In this diagram, here is a source of monochromatic light S, then lens L, partially silvered glass plate P, which is adjusted or placed at an angle 45 degree to the incident beam. Then next there is a compensating plate CP, and last mirror M2. Here is mirror M1. Now this partially silver glass plate splits incident beam into two beams. The first beam travel in upward direction or vertical direction, which is perpendicular to the incident beam, and this beam 2 travel along the direction of the incident beam. Okay. Then here is the telescope. Now when reflected beam comes back and pass through the plate P and enter in the telescope. In similar way, the transmitted beam, when incident on mirror M2, it get reflected, and after reflection it incident on the plate P and get reflected and enter into the telescope T. Right? So these two beam overlap or produces the interference pattern in the telescope. So this figure first is where the apparatus and ether medium both are stationary, and in second figure the apparatus is in motion along the positive x direction. So if you see this figure, then mirror M1 is travel through distance or toward the position B dash. That means mirror M1 having position B initially, when it moves along X direction, its new position is B dash. Similarly, the mirror M2 has new position, that is A dash. Initial position is A. Okay. So next we see the reflected beam 1. The reflected beam first travel upward at right angle to the incident beam and falls normally at B on the plane mirror M1, and it is reflected back to the glass plate P. It gets refracted through plate P and enters the telescope T. The transmitted beam 2 travels along the direction of incident beam, first normally on mirror M2 at point A and reflected back to the plate P. After reflection from the back surface of P, it enters the telescope T. The reflected beam first goes through the plate P 3 times, while the transmitted beam 2 goes through the plate P only 1 time. Therefore, in order to make optical path of two beams to be same, a compensating plate CP is placed in the path of transmitted beam 2 as shown in figure. So here is compensating plate P, which make the optical path of two beams same. When beam first and second arrive at the telescope, they produce interference fringes. Let us assume that the velocity of the apparatus relative to fixed ether be v in the direction PA. That means along the positive x direction, we consider the velocity of the apparatus with respect to ether medium is v. If we use Galilean transformations, the velocity of light ray traveling along PA will be c minus v, while from A to P, its velocity is c plus v. Okay. Therefore, we write here, let PA equal to PB equal to D. That means PA and PB. We see here, PA means this PA and this is PB. Okay. That means PB is the vertical distance and PA is the horizontal distance. We take this distance equal to D. Then time taken by light to travel from P to A equal to D upon C minus V. So I will read again. Time taken by light to travel from P to A equal to T upon C minus V. Right? Then we write time taken by light to travel from A to P. That means again back, and it is equal to D upon C plus V. Therefore, total time taken by light to travel from P to A and back is T equal to, we make the addition of these two, D upon C minus V plus D upon C plus V. Therefore, T equal to twice dc upon c square minus v square. Okay, that means here we take the LCM and we calculate this, and the answer is twice dc upon c square minus v square, or we write T equal to 2d upon c in bracket 1 minus v square upon c square raised to minus 1. Okay, that means here we divide throughout c. So here we take common, that means 1 minus v square upon c square, right? And AC is here. So right here 1 minus v square upon c square, and we take to the numerator, so it is raised to minus 1. This is equal to 2d upon c in bracket 1 plus v square upon c square. So we take first expansion and we write the first term of this expansion, that is plus, right? So this is equation first. Now consider the beam moving from P to B. It will strike the mirror M1 not at B but at B dash. Due to the motion of earth, if T1 is the time taken by the beam starting from P to reach mirror M1, then right P B dash equal to C T1 and B B dash equal to VT1, right? So in this case we consider the apparatus is in motion, so there is a change in the position of mirror M1 from B to B dash, right? So here we take this T1 is the time taken by the beam starting from P to reach mirror M1, then PB dash, that means if we see in figure, then this PB dash, this P B dash, and then B dash P, B dash P dash, okay, right? PB dash equal to CT1, that is the velocity of light. C is the velocity of light, and distance BB dash equal to VT1, that means it is the distance traveled by the apparatus, and it is equal to VT1. The total path of the beam until it returns to P equal to P B dash P dash, okay. Now P B dash P dash equal to P B dash plus B dash P dash. So this figure, from figure we write this P B dash equal to B dash P dash. So you see the figure, then we write P B dash equal to P dash B dash. Both distances are equal, okay. Therefore we write here P B dash P dash equal to twice P B dash, okay. So these both are same. Now again from figure we write P B dash square equal to PC square plus CB dash square, right? That means this PB dash square equal to PC square plus CB dash square. Again we see the figure. So this PB dash square equal to PC square plus CB dash square. So we consider this triangle, and from this triangle we write the equation, and the equation is like this: PB dash square equal to PC square plus CB dash square. So this is equal to PC equal to BB dash plus PB square, right? This PC equal to BB dash and CB dash equal to PB, right? So you can confirm this from the figure. Therefore write CT1 bracket square. Now we substitute the value of this PP dash, and PP dash is CT1, then BB dash is VT1, okay. So this BB dash is VT1. Therefore CT1 bracket square equal to VT1 bracket square plus D square. D square means we have substituted the value of this PB, that is vertical distance, okay. Then we write square C square T1 square equal to V square T1 square plus D square, right? Now here we take T1 square common, therefore we take this term to the left hand side, and taking T1 square common, so we write in bracket C square minus C square equal to D square. Therefore T1 square equal to d square upon c square minus v square, or t1 equal to d upon root c square minus v square, equation third, right? Hence, total time taken by the beam to travel whole path p b dash p dash, that is equal to t dash, and it is equal to twice t1, right? Therefore, we write t dash equal to, this is the value of t1, so we write here 2 times d upon root c square minus v square equal to 2d upon, again we take c common, then we write c in bracket 1 minus v square upon c square raised to half, because we have removed the root. This is equal to 2d upon c in bracket 1 plus v square upon twice c square, right? When we take this quantity 1 minus v square upon c square raised to half numerator, then it becomes minus half, and first expansion term we write this 1 plus v square upon twice c square. Okay, therefore write t dash equal to 2d upon c in bracket 1 plus v square upon twice c square, equation number 4. Comparing equation first and 4 for t and t dash, we have t greater than t dash. Okay, hence we can say that due to the ether drift, time taken by the light to go from P to A and back again to P will be greater than the time taken by light to go from P to B and back again to P by an amount. That means by comparing equation first and fourth, we can say that time taken by the light ray to go from horizontal direction and again come back is greater than the time taken by light to go in vertical direction, that is from P to B and again back. So this amount is delta t is t minus t dash. Okay, then we substitute the value of t, that is 2d upon c in bracket 1 plus v square upon c square, and this is from equation first, minus 2d upon c in bracket 1 plus v square upon twice c square, this is equation fourth, right? So by doing the subtraction and after simplification, we write delta t equal to d v square upon c cube, equation number 5. The distance traveled by light in time delta t will be delta t into c. That means distance is time into velocity. Okay, so this is equal to d v square upon c cube into c. This is equal to dv square upon c square, equation number 6. If the whole apparatus is rotated through 90 degree, then path PB will become optically longer than the path PA by an amount dv square upon c square. Hence, the effect of rotation of the apparatus is to be produced path difference d twice d v square upon c square. Okay, the fringes pattern observed in the telescope will shift through a number of fringes n, and it is given by 2d v square upon c square equal to n lambda, right? So this quantity or term 2d v square upon c square is the path difference, and this path difference equal to say n lambda. So from this we write n equal to 2d v square upon lambda into c square, where lambda is the wavelength of light. Therefore n equal to, we substitute the values of this term or quantities like d, v, lambda and c. Okay, therefore write n equal to 2 into 11. 11 is the distance or length of the apparatus, into in bracket 3 into 10 raised to 4 bracket square, divided by 6 into 10 raised to minus 7 into 3 into 10 raised to 8 to square, right? This 3 into 10 raised to 4 is the velocity of the earth or apparatus, right? So this calculation yields the value n equal to 0.37. But in the Michelson-Morley experiment, no displacement of the fringes was observed. Now the result, while or after doing the experiment, the conclusion is there is no displacement of the fringes was observed. This negative result suggests that it is impossible to measure the speed of the earth relative to ether. Therefore, the effects of the ether are undetectable. That means there is no existence of the ether medium in the universe, right? Explanation of negative result. The negative result of Michelson-Morley experiment can be given by two explanations. The first explanation is the earth dragged along with it the ether in its neighborhood. Thus, there was no relative motion between the earth and ether. This is proposed by Michelson. Second is the proper explanation of negative result was given by Einstein. He concluded that the velocity of light in space is a universal constant. This is called principle of constancy of the speed of light. Okay. So with this lecture I stop here. Have a good day.